It's your robin, the one with the worn patch on his chest, the one who works your lawn every morning, tugging worms out of the grass. At 7:10 on a warm Thursday morning, he hops right past your bird bath. Past it, like it isn't even there. You bought that bath for him. You filled it. You set it where you could watch it from your window, and your birds will not touch it. Day after day it sits there, full, clean, and completely empty of birds. You've started to wonder if you did something wrong, if they just don't need it, if maybe birds don't really use bird baths at all. They do, desperately. Water can pull in birds that would never once touch your feeder. So why is yours being ignored? There is one reason, and there is one change. It costs almost nothing, and it takes about 5 minutes, that will turn that empty bath into the busiest spot in your yard. I am going to give you that change. But not yet. First, you have to see what your bird bath looks like through the eyes of a bird, because it is not what you think. Stay with me. Most people think an empty bird bath means the birds simply aren't interested. They have never been more wrong. Your birds are not ignoring the water. They can't risk it, or they can't even tell it's there. And once you see why, you will never set up a bath the same way again. This isn't about buying something fancier. The fix is almost free. It comes down to one small thing nobody tells you. Subscribe to Backyard Bird Whisper before you leave, because what you are about to learn has changed the way thousands of people see the yard outside their window. Here is where we are going. You'll learn why a still, clean pool of water can be invisible to a bird, and why it can even look dangerous. You'll meet the birds in your yard that are aching to bathe, and the exact thing that stops each one from trusting your bath. And you'll get the single 5-minute change that flips a switch in the bird brain, the one that turns avoid into land. That last one works so fast it almost feels like a trick. Let's start with what water truly means to a bird, because it is far more than a drink. Here's something most people never hear. Water will bring more kinds of birds to your yard than food ever will. Let me say that plainly. Birds that will never once touch your seed feeder, warblers, thrushes, tiny travelers just passing through, will stop for water. A good bath can outdraw a full feeder. That comes straight from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, who have studied backyard birds for decades. And birds need that water badly. A bird cannot sweat. Not one drop. It has no sweat glands at all. So, on a hot day, water is how a bird keeps from cooking inside its own feathers. It drinks, it bathes, it survives the heat through that water, or it doesn't. A small songbird may need to drink 2, 3, even more times a day. Miss a day of water in high summer, and a little bird is in real danger. Water is not a treat you offer your birds. It is fuel. It is cooling. It is survival. As essential to them as the seed in your feeder. Maybe more. Now stop. Picture your bath again. Clean water, sitting right there, and a whole yard full of birds that need it, walking past. That is not a small mystery. That is a bird, desperate for a drink, refusing the easiest water in the neighborhood. Something about your bath is telling them no. And it is the same something in nearly every backyard in America. To understand it, watch what water means to each of your birds. Start with your cardinal. For him, a bath is not a luxury. It's maintenance that keeps him alive. Every one of his feathers, and he has thousands, has to stay clean to do its job. Clean feathers trap air. Trapped air is warmth. On a freezing night, that warmth is the difference between waking up and not. So your cardinal bathes to stay insulated, to stay waterproof, to keep flying right. But he is careful about it. A cardinal at the water is a cardinal with his guard down, and he will not lower it for a bath that doesn't feel safe. He wants your bath. He just won't die for it. Your cardinal is cautious. The next bird is downright terrified. And for good reason, because when your chickadee bathes, it is gambling with its life. Here is the part people never think about. A wet bird is a slow bird. Soak those tiny feathers, and for a few seconds your chickadee can barely fly. Heavy, clumsy, grounded. To a hawk or a cat, a bathing chickadee is the easiest meal in the yard. So your chickadee will only bathe where it can escape in a heartbeat. It needs a branch within one quick hop, an exit, a plan. Put a bath out in the open, far from any cover, and your chickadee does the math in half a second. Too risky. It moves on. It isn't refusing the water, it's refusing to die for it. Hold on to that word, escape, because it is half of the fix. Your chickadee needs an exit. The next bird needs something stranger. Your robin lives for water. Robins are some of the most enthusiastic bathers in your entire yard. They'll soak themselves head to tail, fluff up, and dive right back in. They drink, they bathe, they come back for more. And here is the thing about your robin. He finds water by sound and by movement. In the wild, moving water means fresh water. A trickle, a drip, a ripple catching the light. That motion is a signal that screams clean and safe across the whole yard. A robin can catch a flicker of moving water from a long way off and head straight for it. Drippers, fountains, a garden hose left to trickle on the lawn. Robins find them within hours, sometimes within minutes. So picture your robin this morning. He passed your bath without a glance. Why? Because your bath did the one thing wild water never does. It sat perfectly still and perfectly silent. To your robin, a silent, motionless pool barely even registers. We'll come back to that. It matters more than anything else. Your robin wants motion. The last bird wants something almost nobody knows about. Meet your mourning dove. That soft gray bird with the gentle, mournful call has a secret most people never notice. Nearly every bird drinks the hard way. It scoops a little water, then tips its whole head back to let it run down the throat. Up and back, over and over. Your mourning dove doesn't. It can put its beak in the water and drink straight through, like sipping through a straw. Steady, continuous. One of the very few birds on earth that can do it. And because it eats dry seed all day long, it needs a lot of water. Mourning doves come to drink in the cool of dawn and dusk every single day like clockwork. A dependable, daily water source is exactly what your dove is hunting for. It's hunting. And it's walking right past your bath, same as all the rest. 4 birds. 4 reasons they want your water. One single reason none of them will use it. Here it is. Remember what I promised at the start? The one reason and the one change? Here it is. Your bird bath is too still. That's it. That's the whole secret. Not too small. Not the wrong color. Too quiet. In the wild, there's almost no such thing as safe, clean, standing water. Still water goes stale. Still water breeds sickness. Still water is where things drown. But moving water, a stream, a drip, rain refreshing a puddle, moving water is alive, fresh, safe. A bird knows this in its bones. So when you set out a perfect, still, silent pool, you didn't make a bird bath. To a bird, you made a warning sign. And it gets worse. Birds find water largely by sound and by motion. A silent bath sends out no signal at all. It isn't just unappealing, it's nearly invisible. You built it to be seen. By you, from your window. They were never going to see it at all. Your birds are not snubbing the water. They cannot hear it. They cannot see it move. And every instinct they carry says still water is the kind to avoid. The good news? You can undo every bit of it. In 5 minutes. With one tiny change. And the moment you make it, everything flips. So let me tell you what this really means. That empty bath was never a rejection. Your birds were not turning you down. They were waiting for a signal you didn't know you had to send. And here is the part that matters. When you send it, when that water finally moves, you are not just decorating your yard. You are handing a wild animal one of the things it needs most to stay alive. Clean feathers, a cool body on a brutal day, a safe drink it can trust. A bird, with the whole world to find water in, will choose your yard. Your bath, your 12 feet of grass, day after day. Because you made it safe, you made it speak their language. That cardinal staying warm through a winter night. That chickadee with feathers clean enough to fly. That dove beginning its day at your water every dawn. You did that. The bond you feel watching them is not one-sided. In a small, daily, quiet way, you are keeping them alive. That is not nothing. That is actually quite extraordinary, and it starts with 5 minutes and a single drop of moving water. So here is exactly how to do it. 3 changes. The third is the one that matters most. 1. Make it shallow. Birds can't swim, and most won't wade into water they can't stand up in. Keep it no deeper than 2 inches in the middle, about the length of your thumb, and shallower still at the edges. If your bath is deep, just drop in a layer of clean pebbles or a flat stone until a bird can stand with its feet down and its body dry. Now it's a bath, not a drop-off. 2. Give them an exit. Set the bath about 10 feet from a shrub or a low branch, close enough that a wet bird can flee in a single hop, but not so close that a cat can hide inside it and pounce. A safe approach is what lets a nervous bird finally say yes. 3. And this is the one. Add moving water. A small solar-powered floating fountain costs under $20 and needs no wiring at all. You drop it in, and the sun does the rest. No power nearby? Hang a bucket or a jug just above the bath, poke a pinhole in the bottom, and let it drip. 1 drop every second or 2. That sound, that ripple, is the dinner bell. It is the single most powerful thing you can do. 3 changes: shallow water, a safe exit, and a sound. None of them cost much. Together they turn an empty bowl into the beating heart of your yard. So picture tomorrow morning, at 7:10, after you've added that 1 small drip. Your robin, the one with the worn patch on his chest, comes to work your lawn, the same as always, but this time he stops, because now there is a sound, a glint of moving water, the signal his instincts have been waiting for his whole life. Remember I promised you what happens the moment the water moves? This is it. 1 brave bird goes first, usually the robin. He drinks, he bathes, and other birds are watching. Within days, the cardinal follows. Then the chickadee, escape route and all. Then the doves at dawn. That silent, empty bowl you very nearly gave up on becomes the busiest, most alive corner of your whole yard. The bath looks the same. It isn't. Subscribe to Backyard Bird Whisper, because the most extraordinary wildlife on Earth is not in a jungle or a nature documentary. It is 12 feet from your kitchen window. Before you go, one more thing. There's a bird that visits your yard and every single night comes within inches of death, on purpose. Its heart nearly stops. Its body goes cold and still, and every single morning it brings itself back from the edge. You have watched this bird 100 times and never once known it was performing a tiny miracle in your garden after dark. That's next. I will see you there. Tell me in the comments, what was the very first bird that ever used your bird bath? I want to hear it. I read every single one. These are the stories I carry longest.